Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Modern Witches podcast. I am Casey Zabala, your intuitive witch host, and I am very excited to be sitting with Rohini Moradi for a special conversation about the Akashic records, their new book coming out, and so much more. Um, Rohini has been on the podcast before, a collaborator of the Witches Confluence. And it's just such a treat to be able to have this conversation and share it with others. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Casey. I love sitting with you and seeing you and just being with you in this world.
Likewise, feel lucky.
Hey, we are lucky, aren't we?
Yeah. I'd love it if you could introduce yourself for our listeners, for those
Yeah,
who aren't
my
familiar with
name.
your work.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. My name is Rohini. I don't know what I am. Like, I guess at times I can be an Akashic teacher. Um, I'm about to be a published author. Woo!
Woo!
I make music, I write stories, and I guess I'm a life detective. That's what I am. I'm glad I
Mm.
introduced myself because now I understand. But yeah, I'm a life detective.
I love it. That's why I like putting people on the spot to introduce themselves because I think there's something like the alchemical pressure of like, wait, who am I?
Ooh,
And it's
yeah.
kind of interesting to see what comes out.
I love it. I'm a life
Yeah,
detective. I'm
you
gonna
are a
change.
life detective.
I mean, aren't we all? But not everyone's that curious, right? We're all curious
Hmm
about different things, but ooh, my alarm. Life detective work is calling. Yeah.
Absolutely, as it
hmm
does.
Yeah, it
I
does.
like that. I think there's something that I often think about with people who are in like spiritual work, magical work, witchy work. I think there is this like innate detective impulse in us.
Mm,
It's like this seeker archetype, always wanted to learn more and
always.
get to the heart of things, you know?
Yeah. Did you ponder those things? Oh, there's my dog. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Princess Crystals is also a life detective.
Yeah, me too.
Did you ever ponder those things when you were little? Like I remember being very little, excuse me, um, and really needing to know the purpose of life and why we're here. Like I used to deeply think about this as like a 3, 4 year old person and
Mm,
just wonder why. And I would ask my parents and they're like, I don't know why. I'm like, well, who knows why? And they're like, nobody really knows why. I'm like, why don't we know why?
that can't be true.
Yeah. I've been obsessed with it probably my whole life.
hmm I feel that. Yeah, I wasn't, this is not from 3 years old, but I recently found like poetry that I'd written when I was like 12.
No, oh my gosh. Gold.
I know. Really embarrassing, number one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
number two, it was like all about the soul. It was like writing about the soul. I was like, I need to understand what the soul is. I need to understand
12?
what the soul is. Yeah, I was like obsessed, you know?
So cool. Do you feel like you
But it
understand it
is,
more now?
I think I have more language for it,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I think it's something like we're always circling around, right?
Yeah.
That's how I understand it. Like I'm always circling around this thing, and it's like I'll never necessarily understand the feeling of knowing it,
Yeah.
but I'll be circling around it forever.
Yeah. I know. I wonder, like, when we're out of our bodies and we're just the soul, if we
Hmm
understand it still or not. Do you know?
Yes.
Because possibly not, because I don't know, the way I imagine is that we're just an awareness, but is that awareness like an all-encompassing awareness that understands everything when we don't have the confines of our human body intact?
Right. Like will we have the sense of like I understand something like an ego understanding
Probably
that
not.
we don't probably not.
And I
Yeah.
think, is it our ego that makes us want to understand these things?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I think about
Will
this
come to my
like,
brain.
I know.
Sorry.
It's good. That's why we're here. We're here to get into
Yeah,
your brain. So thank you for letting us in.
it's a mess.
Um, but yeah, let's talk about when it all began for you, like these
Hmm.
questions that you're having at such a young age. I know we've spoken a little bit about your spiritual upbringing in the
Mhm.
past, but um, I'd love for you to kind of tell people about your entrance into the spiritual world. Like what were the frameworks and structures that
Mm.
you had access to and later kind of
Yeah, well,
what
I mean,
helped you?
I grew up in a temple. So it was round the clock rituals. That's just how it is when you have to wake up at this time. You do your nadi shodhnas or your breath exercises. You clean what do you call the neti pot cleansing? You chant, then you stretch. You do yoga asana, and then you sit and contemplate. I mean, I didn't do all those things personally, but I followed my dad when he did them. And
Mm-hmm.
the other temple people, I was too young to really be of such discipline. Um, but ritual was like a really big part of it. And I think the biggest structures that I took away from it, or that has brought me back to any type of spiritual curiosity, um, is the is the act of curiosity itself, I guess, like to ponder. I feel like is one of the biggest tools that I received, is to like allow one to open up to the universe and see what comes. Was one of, and I guess like that's what the book is about, and like um
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of to give people the blueprint of detachment, but not detachment in the way where we don't care about anything, but to accept everything, if that makes any sense. And it doesn't mean like it's we've given up and we're not going to fight or this or that, but it's like it's that centerness where you see it for what it is, and then you can move forth with everything with more intention, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. So I don't know if that answered, but I think it's the
Yeah,
pondering structure that really brought me back, and I really took away from my childhood. I felt that was
amazing.
really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not something that um, is often like expressed or shared with children too. I feel like
Yeah.
have that imprinted.
It's so true. It's so true. And I'm so grateful for my dad for this, because traditionally, like children and women are a lot of times like left out of these things. But my dad wasn't that way.
Mm.
And he brought me in, and he brought my mom, and like everybody, like everyone was a part of what he was doing. And he was
Mm.
inclusive in every way he possibly could. He has such like I don't know, like he has a really big heart where he all he wants to do is help. And if you meet him in real person, he's just like anyone who has like anything, he's like always helping like 5,000 people at the same time kind of thing. But it was really cool. I remember one instance where I don't even remember the names of a lot of these celebrations, because I'm not like a practicing Hindu at all. And after we moved to the US, I've lost touch really. I've gone to the temples and revisited, but I'm not practicing, so I don't remember. But there was this
Mhm.
one celebration that's like really important. I don't know when it happens even. I have pictures of it. That's all I have. But
Mhm.
it's supposed to be done by like the pujari of the temple. And it's really like rigorous. Like you have to study to do things like in the right order and this and that and whatnot. And I had begged him for like months. I think I was like 5 or 6 years old to let me do this. And he's like, no, this is weird. Like that's not, I can't let a
Not how it
9-year-old
goes.
lead this. And I was like, I'm going to learn everything. Don't worry. I really want to do it. And he gave me a chance. And I led this whole huge ceremony with like so many people. And with his guidance, like I was able to lead it. So yeah, I feel like he did
Incredible.
He's so cool. He does bring people in and believes in anyone who says, believe in me.
Hmm.
So I was
Yeah,
very
we need more of
lucky.
that. We need more of
Yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So, can you remind us what the book is called and give us
Yeah,
a
the
little
book.
bit of a sense of what inspired you to write the book?
Yeah, absolutely. The book is called Tapping into the Akasha. And Akasha is basically ether pre-manifest. And what inspired me to write the book was all of it really, but it was, I always talk about this huge tragedy, trigger warning. Maybe I won't say the whole thing. You can go search and find it. But a huge tragedy happened to my family, and personally, I can't speak for anyone else, but turned me into a puddle where I had to like rebuild and make form again. And it was really, well, of course, it was a life-changing experience, but it allowed me to leave the, I'm trying to find the right words for this, but it allowed me to leave the bricks I had built through life behind and just go back to this essence I was once before I started building the walls, like my childhood. So when I was healing and trying to understand everything, I kept finding myself going back to like all the little things I had learned as a child and how important this is or that is, and not understanding it then, but now understanding it. And I felt like with the Akashic records, which it's a really cool concept and a lot of times sounds sci-fi on the internet. I
See, that's
really
a great
thought,
way to put it. It does sound sci-fi when you like do new age searches of Akashic records. It is so funny. Anyways,
for real though, like when I
yeah,
first started seeing the words, like I would just look it up. And this is before everyone was, not everyone, but it was like mainstream.
less popular. Yeah.
Well, it was very less popular. So you just find some like weird YouTube videos and like what? Why am I seeing this word over these words over and over again? Anyway, it just seemed extreme. I fell into it because something drew me in, but I realized through learning more about it and curiosity and pondering that a lot of the information on there was put forth by, some very questionable groups, and it really rubbed me the wrong way, and it felt like um, it wasn't being presented honestly and simply. I don't know if you want me to go into that or not, but like,
I mean, I'm curious if you could name some of the groups that feel like
yeah, the
questionable
Theosophical
and
Society for one.
great.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we don't want. Well, it just seems like colonized information, and
Yeah, totally.
yeah, yeah, it just really it shocked me, and um, I don't
There
know.
is a lot of that. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
Please, no, tell me. Yeah,
No, I just, for our listeners, um, I'm sure a lot of you have come across like the Theosophical Society, Madame Blavatsky, and they had such a like a grip in that like the zeitgeist and the culture of that moment. And that moment was also really rooted in colonization, a lot of like eugenics
a lot of eugenics, a lot of
happens
white
in
supremacy.
that, a lot of
Yeah.
white supremacy. And so like I definitely it was something I came across when I was like a young like occult student and I was
Hmm.
like, huh, this is like so it's like interesting, right? It draws you in this like sci-fi way, which I
Yeah.
really like the way you put that. Um, and then when you kind of like scratch kind of further below the surface, you discover like the roots of it, which
Yeah.
are deeply problematic. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Deeply problematic is a great way of putting it. But yeah, a lot of these are based on like the Vedas and, old Buddhist scriptures. And I don't know, like I feel like those scriptures are the most scientific scriptures you can really find because they've withstood the test of time. A lot of people have tested them out, and they've refined it to
Mhm.
this point of like not perfection, but um evolution, I guess, and a lot of it is hard to understand, which I could see how like a society like that would want to take the interesting parts and turn it into a business and, profit off of it. But my plan really was to bring the light back to the people who originally have accumulated this information through a lot of hard work. And
Hmm.
um, yeah, you can really feel it, and I think that's the thing. Like, there's so much mysticism possibly about things like the Akashic records or any kind of like I can't think of words today. I'm sorry. I had too much coffee and then I started rushing. But any
It's
kind of
all
thing, like
good.
even mediumship or whatever it is. I don't know mediumship that well, but in regards to the Akashic records, like it's really easy to make something seem unattainable and bigger than it actually is when it's actually like the most natural form of being and of self. And like I feel like it disassociates us from our inner magic more and more by believing these
Mm.
things that are taking us away from what the real meaning of it is, which is like
Yeah.
there's a freaking light inside of you, and you have been shielding it down because of society. And not to blame everything on society, but like if we were all shining the way we were supposed to, like the world wouldn't be this way. And like people profit off of the world not being this way, and like blah, 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 that whole
Hmm.
conversation.
Hmm.
So the book is pretty much the long-winded of saying, here's how you get rid of this stuff that's been building up, and then go back to yourself and like start listening to yourself. Because the more fuller you are inside, the better connections you make with the people around you, and you get to meet like the people that are meant for you, and this and that and whatnot, and like your
Hmm.
life's more fruitful. Not that it's always going to be easy, because I mean, to be in this body is to suffer. Like just taking a breath is suffering. But it's understanding that and being one with it and moving from that space that I find, I don't know, I find it helps is what I'm trying to get
Mm.
at. It helps the suffering.
Yeah, absolutely. I
So
can't wait to
dark.
read it, honestly. I'm like, yes, sign me up. Um, but yeah, I do. I mean, I do think it's powerful what you're talking about because I do think like spirituality and a lot of the things that are new age coded or
Mhm.
like come from these like colonized forms of spirituality, I guess.
Yeah,
Um, they're kind of gatekeepy
they are.
and hierarchical, right? And like
Yes.
I do think there's a way in which they yeah, they fracture like the true essence of the teachings, which
Yeah.
can be for everyone who's like interested. Um, and is like a something that fortifies everyone in a different
Mhm.
way. Yeah, it's like I think we just got to come back to basics a little bit.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's scary right now because everyone's looking for answers outside of themselves.
Hmm.
And that's when it becomes really dangerous when you don't have confidence in your intuition. Like, that's scary. You're gonna,
Yes.
that's really scary. That's where we're
Yeah,
at right
absolutely.
now. Hmm.
I know. I feel like I'm it's really interesting because I think when I started doing like practicing as a tarot reader and
Hmm.
like offering consultation, it was this kind of extraction energy of like, I need answers from this person,
Hmm.
like give me the answers. But it's never been about that.
No.
Unfortunately, spoiler alert.
Hmm.
Um, it's really just more about like the people like you and myself who guide people to their own knowing. It's like you're actually
Yeah.
sourcing the answers. This is just a
Yeah.
process where like you're guiding yourself back to your intuition and um I don't know, I fear that can seem like kind of unsexy to folks or something, you
Like,
know?
but I paid you for the answers.
Yeah, like I want to know the thing. We're so like linear.
Yes.
Um, but it is so important, especially like as like technology goes crazy and more people are turning to these like AI chatbots for spiritual counsel. It's like let's get back to like just sitting with yourself and like taking
Oh
a
my
deep
gosh.
breath and
For real. The AI stuff's really funny. I mean, I love it as a tool, to be honest. Like, I own a bartending school, and writing emails back is excruciating sometimes. I'm like, help me, help me talk about an event, please.
hmm
But the thing is, AI takes the median information it has and then blasts it out as the information. So it's median, it's mediocre information. It's not the most valuable, but it's not the worst, but it's median.
Yes.
So it's like use it to organize things, but
Yes, exactly.
maybe not.
Not for like the soul level contact pieces.
No, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't help with that. You're gonna get mediocre information.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's such a crazy time. And I think, before we hit record, we were kind of talking about this time
Mhm,
and this moment in the world that is like so immensely challenging for so many
mhm,
folks.
mhm.
Um, and how it's challenging to be here now and so challenging for spiritual, sensitive people.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Um, I'm just wondering how you're navigating the moment.
I'm like I was saying, crashing out,
Mhm.
but I allow myself. I think it's okay to crash out. I don't think we have to
Yeah.
be happy at all times. We have to be sad at all times. But I think, as my mother-in-law likes to say, like we have to hold a grain of hope. And I love that because I'm like, I do have a grain of hope. I do. But I'm still crashing out. Yeah, what's happening in our country is freaking scary. I Holy shit, But also
hmm
last time we talked was right when the women life freedom thing had happened.
Yes.
Like right when it was happening, and I was like crashing
Yes.
out. And because those are like deep in my bones wounds, my dog agrees.
hmm
Um,
hmm
that I can't shake off because it's just like so
Right.
it's so embedded.
Ancestral.
It's so ancestral and but it's like I was there, I saw it, it's like it comes up like I can't help it and it just spirals me every single time. Like last
Mhm.
time the woman life thing was happening, I like started chain smoking. Like I couldn't stop smoking and I'm not a smoker. And like this time I'm not doing it. I'm like, I'm not gonna spiral and ruin my life because this is happening.
hmm
And also I'm not gonna trust that anything will happen out of it. The sad thing is like we just have to kind of sit here and wait for it to be over because that government is full of psychos that are just going to kill their people. And
hmm
that's just what, like, I don't know. So I'm
Yeah.
spiraling in that way. Yeah.
No, for sure. No. I think it's like so important to let ourselves spiral.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't know, I think as a student of grief at the moment, like when you are confronted with major grief, and I think each of us are dealing with that in our own way, it's like if you ignore it, it only gets worse.
Only gets worse.
So it's so important to like let yourself just like
Yeah.
be in it, be in the grief. And I find that that's way more productive than anything else I could be productive about?
Totally. I know. I'm sorry for everything you're going through because that's a deep, deep grief. And
Mm,
before I experienced grief on that level, I had lost friends before,
mhm.
but losing someone really close to you like that it shakes up your whole system. I always heard that term of like, the only way past it is through it. And I was like, I
Mhm.
never really understood that until you actually feel it and you're like, oh, okay. Because like for some reason, when something horrible like that happens, you try to like suppress it because you're like, I'm
No.
not letting it come up. No.
hmm
But you have to like let it
Yeah.
come up and like cry your eyes off and then disassociate and watch a show for like the whole day or then like and then maybe go out with friends one night and then like go back to being sad. It's like it's a really volatile experience to go
hmm
through grief.
Totally. Yeah. And I think it's like yeah, I was going to share, with this Saturn Neptune conjunction we're having, it's going to be exact on February 20th. Like that is a real grief transit, you know. Saturn is the world, Neptune is dissolving the world.
Whoa.
Um, and Saturn is also loss and death. And I think there's a way in which one world is ending and we're like
Mm.
in the death rattle of that. And so there's a lot of grief that comes up with that.
Yeah,
Even if it's, these horrible toxic structures and systems that like must end,
I hope
there's
so.
still so much comfort we've built in like knowing what the world is.
Yeah, I think that's what comfort tends to be the enemy, I've
Yeah.
noticed. It
Hmm.
really is, huh?
Yeah.
Why do we have this like really deep need for it, you know? I know it's like survival instincts, but at the
Hmm.
same time, when is anything in nature ever comfortable? Like, why do we have that need for it as humans? But like a lot of times, animals and plants and natural life doesn't even consider it a thing.
I know. Yeah. I mean, I think it's like the comfort keeps us in like delusion of like death always being present or like
Mm.
suffering always being the thing, as we were talking about, like life is
Yeah.
suffering.
Such a masochist. Like,
Yeah,
yes,
but it's, I
suffering.
mean, but it's like very like Buddhist. I feel like the Buddhist mindset. I keep
Yeah.
returning to Buddhism these days because I'm just like, oh, this is
Yes.
so comfort. This is comfort to me is like everything is suffering and like we can find acceptance with that, which is I think what you were kind of talking about with this idea of detachment. That's a big part of your work.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a huge framework in Hinduism as well. And like
Mhm.
the sect that I practiced under as, I mean, I was born into practice on my own, was Bhakti Yoga, which is, you practice devotion, like so that you can open your heart up fully, but at the same time you practice detachment, which is like Maya is like what they call the material world, and you have to practice detachment to Maya so you can let your spirit guide, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
but I feel like there are a lot of linear teachings with Buddhism and that thought of school as well. It's true
Hmm.
though. Detachment. Detachment, like, because Maya is essentially comfort. The world is like telling you, like, that's what, not all the time, but for the most part, we're being sold comfort, right? Like, you have to own a house so that you can be comfortable. You have to have a job so that you can be comfortable. You have to buy these clothes so you can fit into society so you can be comfortable. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
comfort keeps you in a box. Um, I remember. So I've done ayahuasca like 2 times, and I know this is such a funny thing to talk about. No, 3 times. Liar. But I was always scared of it because I was like, oh no, you're gonna like, I don't want to throw up and like poop my pants in front of people. Sorry.
Yeah, those are the
TMI.
concerns for sure.
It didn't happen. Knock on wood. I can't knock or my dog will bark. But knock on wood, that didn't happen. But what happened was I had all my comfortable things, and like you're usually in like a dark room, and you can even put like an eye mask on so you don't see anyone. Like people don't interact, and it's really cool. And just hear beautiful music. The person I went to is just magical. It's really cool. But anyway, in that session, I spent the first maybe 2 hours of it just trying to get comfortable. And then I just like was spending my whole experience being like, nope, nope, my back, no, I gotta sit like this. Nope. Just like moving around, trying to get comfortable. And then that's the beauty of like putting like a microscope on something with a hallucinogen like that. It's like
Hmm.
I realize I'm like, wow, I spent my whole life like trying to get comfortable. Like that's all I'm trying to do is getting comfortable, but then I'm missing out on what's happening. And like if I'm just looking for comfort, then I'm closing myself off to like everything else that could come, like that isn't comfort. And also, when I'm the most comfortable is like, or when I'm the least comfortable is when I notice the little intricacies of life and like grow from them. So if I'm constantly wanting to be comfortable, that means I'm avoiding life altogether instead of just letting it in and recognizing it for what it is and learning from it, and growing from it or whatnot. That long story is to say, I guess my
Absolutely.
comfort is bad. Except for when you're sleeping, I guess.
Yes. Love comfort when we're sleeping. But yeah, no, I think we talk about this a lot on our podcast when we talk about the astrology, because I do think it's been like there's been lately like a slow eroding sense of like, what do I really need to be comfortable? Like
Mm.
truly in my self,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. What comes up for you? I'm curious.
I think like something that I've been finding a lot of comfort in right
Mm-hmm.
now that feels like actually soul nourishing and not dissociative or external
Mm-hmm.
reaching is making art,
Oh,
you
you just
know,
need to
like,
create. Yeah.
yeah, like creating things, thinking about things, writing, like returning to a process of just sort of showing up for the curiosity that you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned, like doing my own little detective work for myself and my
Yeah.
soul.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I do think we each have like our own kind of like soul spirit architecture,
Absolutely.
and we get to like create some of that, and some of it we discover. Um, and so that's sort of like the thing that I'm feeling nourished by, I guess,
Mm,
you
that's
know.
so cool. So is writing your main medium of art, or do you paint also? Are those your paintings?
Yeah, they're my paintings. Some of them.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So
Um,
cool.
yeah, I draw and paint and write. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah. I do it all.
Yeah.
I feel like I used to like my little 12-year-old poems suggest. I was like a big poem gal in the old days. So I'm working on getting back to that place. But
That's so cool. You should
yeah.
publish your 12-year-old poems. She would be
Oh
so
wow.
happy.
That would be that would be a lot of discomfort. So maybe I should.
Maybe, I don't know. I not recently, but like a few years ago, found this. I had a Beck book because I was like so inspired by Beck. So cool. Still inspired by
Hmm.
Beck.
Hmm.
But during like a Rolling Stones article one year, when he was first like becoming famous, he was like, the only way I write my music is like I just walk around and write down whatever I see. And I'm like, oh, cool. I want a Beck book. So I made like a book. I mean, it was just a book, but I called it a Beck book because I would just write down
That's
everything
so
I would
cool.
think.
Yeah.
And my friends and I would make poems and like raps about them.
Hmm.
But I discovered it a couple years ago, and there's some
Yes.
very embarrassing. I can relate to the embarrassment aspect. Our little tiny developing minds and like the cute things they come up with, you know. The
Totally.
fun part is my sister's poems were also in there, and not going to talk about her poems more than saying she did not like me back then. Discovering those was amazing. I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
It was
The
funny.
developing, the developing brain. That's so
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
Like,
But there is something like really nourishing about going back and seeing like child self stuff and constellating it all inside of
yeah.
ourselves, you know?
It's
Yeah.
sweet. It's so sweet. I mean, there it's surprising a lot of times. Like you said, you were writing about the soul, like at 12 years old.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So weird. So
So
so fun to be like such a weird guy, you know? I love
normal.
that.
Yeah.
Love that.
I feel like thinking about your soul is the most normal thing you could do as a kid because you're like, what?
Right?
Yeah.
Feels very basic. Like this is the number one question
Yeah.
we should be
What is this?
asking.
Hold on.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of kids are, and we're just like not asking about it, not talking about it, you know?
It's true. Kids are so smart.
Yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
are. I'm curious about like the kind of process that you're in with the Akashic records now and what your practice looks like and also maybe connecting it to the soul. Like what is that? How does
Mm-hmm.
the Akashic records connect us into that part of ourselves? If so.
Well, I mean, it's like the deepest part of ourselves.
Hmm.
And I think like the place that I am with it now is the embodiment phase where I'm less of a seeker than I was, but I'm curious in different ways, I guess. Like I'm not sitting around trying to learn more about my spirit self, about the universe and how it works, because I came to this realization after doing the work for like almost consistently, like 7 years, and that's where the book was birthed from. Was after that, it's like, oh my God.
Mm,
But the place that I came to was realizing, I guess it correlates with like the comfort talk as well.
mm,
Uh, Realizing how important these little moments we have are. And I know we all know that. We all know, oh my God, the present moment is so important, but it's like really, really important because it's going to create the future for not just us, but everyone around us and the world and the planet and everything. So I'm currently in the deepest embodiment phase I've ever been in, where I am only listening to what my gut, my heart are telling me to do. And that's it. That's why there are no plans. I don't know what I'm doing, letting myself crash out, but I'm really excited to receive like whatever plans the universe has for me, whatever they may be.
mm.
So that's my practice these days,
That's
um,
beautiful.
and that's it.
Yeah. I think that's
Yeah,
so good.
thanks. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, to be like the astrology nerd, I feel like that's the advice I keep telling people. It's like, this is
Hmm.
not the time to be like manifesting or trying to like set out a framework for your future. It's actually just like a time to be present, you
Wow,
know?
that's cool.
So
I
I
love
think it's
hearing that.
really good. And
Thanks.
the emotion piece is so important too. It's,
Yeah,
you know, we don't give ourselves time to just like be in our emotions or be in the presence of our feelings very often.
totally.
So there's a lot of wisdom
Totally.
there that we haven't been utilizing.
Yeah, I mean, it's scary, honestly, because it's
Mhm.
the whole saying, I guess there are two. It's like we make plans and God laughs, or let go and let God, or whatever. And God can be the universe or whatever. It can be your intuition. It can be whatever, like collective force that we imagine it to be. But there's
Mhm.
like a really scary aspect of surrendering to that, being like, well, what am I here for then? You know? And then
Mhm.
um, maybe despite how I'm gonna curse. Is that okay? I don't know how fucked up things
Go
are.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Despite that, like, in spite of that, I'm gonna choose to let my self-expression be as present as possible and as bright as possible because I feel I feel like the purpose of being in times like these or these more organized powers unrolling their plans. I don't know how
Hmm.
else to. Uh, they don't want that, you know. They don't want people to live fully and still experience joy and still follow their heart and their gut, and they want fear, you know. And
Yeah.
I'm not willing to give that to
Yeah.
anyone. Whatever happens to me, you know, it's like I'm not. I won't give it. I've lived through the legitimate IRGC. And I hate them, and I didn't give it to them, and I won't give it to anyone else. So, period. Sorry,
Yes.
I'm angry.
Yes, you get to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well.
it's important.
Hmm.
Yeah, so important. I think it's I do think there's so many ways that people show up in these moments where there's like so much turmoil and emergent situations happening. We're like fighting this like major power imbalance. And I do think underneath like all the practical support systems and everything, like networks of care people are building, there
Hmm.
is this like really important spiritual thread that you are just holding, which is like they want us to be in fear so that we comply, but we
Hmm.
cannot.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well put. Thanks for translating. It's like
Oh my
blah.
God, no, you were very
That was
clear.
really good. Yes.
No, I do feel like I'm the one being like, we're saying this and I'm saying it in a spiritual way. And
Yeah.
I don't want it to minimize anything else that's like happening on a practical level, but I do think it's important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Plus, that'll put us in a clear place. So when
Hmm.
we're in fear, we're not thinking from a clear space. We're thinking from a place of fear, which will attract, you know, ideas that aren't more elevated than the ideas that are happening, if that makes any sense. If we're in a balanced state where we're like clear about what's being presented in front of us and we make decisions based on that space, then our response is going to be a lot more elevated than the fear response, if that makes any sense. And
Hmm.
like I feel like that's what we need to do right now is like um get together, think elevated, and take action from that place instead of just reaction, because reaction is like what's expected, and it hasn't solved any problems in the past, and it probably never will. If we look at every single war or conflict or whatever, like the
Hmm.
reaction doesn't solve issues. It's like when you sit and actually think about it as in from a clear space is when you can solve things, solve problems.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. No, it's very
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious. I mean, I want to just share for folks listening that Rohini did this beautiful performance at our last confluence, where she made music using plants.
So cool.
And it was a beautiful, like, meditation opening, interactive. People got to like interact with the plants and it changed the sound. And it was just really lovely. And I'd love to hear more about your creative practice and what you're weaving these days.
Yay. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me part of that. That was like such a highlight. It was so fun. I didn't sleep all night the night before because I was so excited. And then I came in like, I'm on no sleep. And trying to
It
be,
was so good though.
I think like the phrase trying to be normal is something I use way too often. And I just have to accept that I'll never be normal. But I was trying to be normal that day. I'm like,
Normal in a group of witches, just to clarify, you know?
the coolest people. So, like, but yeah, that was so fun. And like I was saying, I'm not there. There aren't any intentional weavings, but I did record an album last year with my favorite
Mm.
producer, Miriam Kodas, who is just the loveliest person. But she records out of Tiny Telephone in Oakland, and Tiny Telephone has always been like my dream like studio recording places to record at since like early 20s. Like I was always like Tiny Telephone's the
Mm.
best. And they moved from San Francisco to Oakland. Anyway, but we recorded a soundtrack to Cloud Watching album and it
Mm.
is so exciting. I have been holding my breath for the last year and just being like, okay, I have to wait for the right moment, and we recorded water. We used like the most amazing keyboard. It's called the Cloud 9. And it's blue, just like the clouds.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
it's so it's so fun. And I'm so privileged. I can't even believe I get to be this lucky. But I'm working with musician David Allred, who's uh, not only mastering the album, but also enhancing it and adding his beautiful musical touch to it. If y'all aren't familiar with David Allred, he's so cool. His music is like I would call it hopeful dark wave. I don't know how to, but
Mm,
it's so
yes.
good. And like the touches he's putting on it are just blowing my mind. And we also had like on this, okay, so the Cloud album, I'm really excited and all over the place now.
Mhm.
But the
This is so
Cloud
good.
album is probably going to come out later, like closer to summertime. But the first single is coming out with the book release because so that it can be a soundtrack to cloud watching while you're reading about the Akasha, which is ether pre-manifest. And it's just gonna, oh, I'm just so excited about it because like one of the things that I learned through teaching people meditation and how to really release and let go was I realized people were having a really hard time with that concept because we're overthinking it constantly. Like, am
Mhm.
I doing the right thing? This, da, 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 da. And I realized using like frequencies really helps release that tension. And all you have to do is focus on the music and the frequencies that it's like, um, oh my God, I just forgot the word. I was gonna say emulating, but it's not, that's not the right word. But anyway, you just listen to the music and it your body does what it needs to so that you can
Mm.
surrender and release in that way and then gain access and information. That's where the whole musical thing even came about. But yeah, so the first single is coming out with the
Cool.
book, and the first single also has amazing like aficionado vibraphone player Masayoshi Fujita, who's like a Japanese composer on it, and I'm so
Cool. Wow. I can't wait to hear
excited.
it.
That's the next weave. But
That
yeah,
sounds
so
amazing.
it's so exciting. And then like if we're speaking about collaborations, I'm sorry, I'm going to plug something if you don't mind,
Please,
because I'm
please
also
plug
really
away.
excited about this. So my friend Rachel, she owns Fat in the Moon, and I know she's worked with you all a lot.
Yes.
So cool. She's one of
We
my
love
favorite
Fat in the
people.
Moon.
She created, I don't know if you can see it. She created an eyeshadow for the book.
Oh my
It's
gosh, it's
called Akasha.
beautiful.
Wait,
Let's see this.
it's so pretty, but I have it on as an eyeliner.
Oh,
Um,
beautiful.
but
I love all of, oh wow, that's gorgeous.
doesn't it look like the
It's
clouds?
shimmery
How did you
blue,
do it?
pearlescent. I don't know, but I'm a huge fan. I only wear their like makeup.
Anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
everything.
too.
Everything and everything is Fat in the Moon.
Me too. Because it's so intentional and well made, and it's the coolest people making it.
Yeah, feels good.
Yeah, it feels really good. But yeah,
Mm,
those are the weavings. I'm excited, like overly
beautiful.
excited. It's hard to contain.
When is the book coming out?
March 6th,
Okay, amazing. Right before the equinox. Perfect.
right before the equinox. And honestly, Casey, thank you so much because without you and your introduction, none of this would be happening and the book would not be
Ah,
coming out. Thank you for believing in me and being like so cool and
no
connecting me
brainer.
with its birthplace. Really, like it's
Yeah. Oh
so
my gosh, no, I'm
exciting.
so excited. It was totally kismet because I was, I've been working with Wiser
Yeah.
on my decks and book and they had been talking to me about like, oh, if you like know anyone who has, you know, books they want to pitch us, let us know. I
What?
was like, great. Got one right here.
Are you
It's perfect.
serious?
Yeah. It was
Whoa.
like boom, boom, boom. That's how things work,
It's so
right?
true. Crazy
Yeah.
portals.
Little dominoes.
Yeah, how magical though. Like everything's set in its place at the right time. You know, they say like when you do follow your intuition and you're like just open to the possibilities, things do work out like that. Do you find that to be true for you? Like where things are just happening as they should instead of trying to force it? Because I feel like in the past I used to try to force things to happen all the time. And then once I
Yes,
what
totally. The forcing doesn't work for me.
yeah, for anyone.
For
Because people feel
anyone.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Hmm.
know. It does. It takes a lot of trust, um, which I think can be hard when you're like in a moment of like constriction of any
Mhm.
kind.
Yeah.
It's like very hard to get like your nervous system trust. But once you do get into that place, into that rhythm, I do find like things really flow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. It's like I know that, but then sometimes I want something so bad, and then
Hmm.
like I really want this thing to happen. And then like I'll push for it and they're like, no. I'm like, oh yeah, it was too much. Okay.
Yeah. I
I'll
know.
chill
I'm like,
out. God
and
damn.
sometimes I'm like, okay, that it didn't work out that way. Maybe there's another iteration of how
Mhm.
something will happen
Yeah,
that I
it's true.
want to have happen. I don't
It
know.
goes back to that whole let go and let God thing. Let go and
Yep.
let the universe.
Do it. Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
So I'm curious
Hmm.
about, I've been asking people this question, which feels kind of like a hard question, but that's why I like asking it.
Let's hear
Um, but what are you most hopeful about at this stage?
it.
For maybe for your personal self and also for the collective. What's
Hmm.
your little grain of hope?
My little grain of hope right now, for personal, is to continue trusting myself. I think that has been really nourishing. And doesn't mean not question myself, but yeah, I'm hopeful that I can continue trusting myself.
Hmm.
And for the collective, I'm hopeful because I know that the collective has such a powerful heart and spirit that that heart and spirit is going to glue us all together and create like a really strong force where we can start creating a world that nourishes us and the people around us in such a positive way. I'm really hopeful that people will tap into their light and allow themselves to be who they are. I'm really hopeful that people will continue to believe in love and in themselves. Um, and I'm really, really hopeful that light is always going to overpower the dark.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yeah, I feel complete.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I feel like that's true.
I hope so.
Yeah. I hope
I'm
so too.
hopeful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope
Weaving
so.
that prayer into all the other prayers for sure. I think
Yeah.
we need it. We need it for sure.
Yeah. We all know, don't we? I think we all know. We all know. And yeah, hopefully people really believe in themselves and they're like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We need more like empowerment hype people.
Yeah.
Just reminding people of that, you know?
Yeah, it's really hard to fall into a vortex.
Hmm.
Did I say hard? Or it's really easy to fall into a vortex.
Yes.
It's really
The
hard to
vortex is hard.
remember that when you're in the vortex.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to get your book and that
Yeah.
eyeshadow, of course,
Sorry,
and the
I had to
song.
tell him like I want. I just like can't believe that I got to collaborate with Rachel and have an eyeshadow for the book. That's
So
so
sweet. I love
cool.
it. Yeah,
I love
very
it.
cool. Um, it's very fun. And I love how you like weave art into everything. It's just beautiful to see. I think we need
Thanks.
more beauty alongside all of this like spiritual work because I think it glues it together in some way.
Yeah, it really does. It really
Yeah.
does. Yeah. Thank you.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience before we wrap up our conversation for now?
Sure, yeah, just that I love you, even if I don't know you. I hope you're taking care of yourself and the people around you. And yeah, that you put that little grain of hope in your pocket too and keep it there and don't let it fall out. And maybe the grain will grow and sprout and grow into a huge tree. But keep
Yes.
it there.
Hope so.
And thank you, Casey. That's also what I want to add is like I just
Oh,
love sitting with you and like having conversations with you is always so nourishing and fun and you're just you're just
oh,
the coolest. Thank you for doing what you do.
thank you. That's
The
very
world's
sweet.
lucky to
It's
have
it's a treat.
you.
Oh, thank you. I
Thank
was
you.
so excited to have this conversation and
Thank
even more so to share it with others. So,
you.
thank you.
Thank you.